What is happening, people? Hope you're having a great weekend. Happy Sunday to you. So if you haven't heard the news as of the last week or so, FCA announced that it is going to go ahead and build the Ram TRX, which is a souped up Ram that is supposed to take on the Ford Raptor. So that's going to be a direct competitor to the Ford Raptor. So that's pretty crazy, but that's kind of how FCA rolls. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty and try some crazy things. Now today I want to talk about what the TRD Pro would need to be if it wanted to be a direct competitor to both of these trucks, and also why Toyota won't do it. So at first, let's go into what the TRD Pro would need. Okay, so a few modifications, just a few things right off the bat it would need. Number one, we'd have to have the TRD supercharger back on the truck. That would have to be something maybe exclusively available to the TRD Pro. So we could have the 5.7 engine with the TRD supercharger, and that would make about 550 horsepower at the crank. Now that would bring it up to another level and kind of differentiate itself from the other Tundras. Now, if you didn't read, the TRX is supposed to be getting, I believe I read correctly, a 6.2 liter supercharged motor, making 575 horsepower. And we all know the Ford Raptor has the 3.5 high output EcoBoost motor that makes, I think it's 450. So it actually would make the Raptor the least powerful, but don't forget the Raptor is super light because it is all aluminum. But anyway, so I think that would be a great start for the TRD Pro Tundra, would be a TRD supercharger only available for the TRD Pro. The one thing you got to remember with the Raptor and with this upcoming TRX model is they're different from the F-150 and the Ram respectively. They have wide body kits. They have stuff you can only get on the Raptor and on the TRX, it looks like for now, for the TRX. So the TRD Pro has to be different than the regular Tundras. Another thing that would definitely help the TRD Pro is better tires for what the theme is. Now, you always hear people always say, oh, the reason they put the tires that are on there now are for comfort and gas mileage. Okay, stop. Stop with that, because the TRD Pro is supposed to be a desert running ready truck, okay? I don't want to hear about comfort and gas mileage. I understand a lot of people who buy them will be on road with them most of the time, especially because of the price, but the Raptor did it, so why not the TRD Pro? And we'll get to that in the end. But so tires, definitely. Number two, the motor, supercharged 5.7 liter V8. And last but not least, I think maybe a little more of an aggressive suspension. You know, what they have on there now on the TRD Pro is kind of, you know, it's like a mid-travel suspension. You know, it does what it has to do. It is good off-road. It is meant for the high-speed desert running, the Baja-style racing. But I think to truly compete, you're going to need to put on a little bit more of an aggressive shock package. Just my opinion. I don't know if I would do full-on long travel, but, you know, Toyota's really conservative. So I'm pretty sure with the suspension, what you see is what you would get even going forward. Now, those are the three main things I think Toyota would need to do. Let's not forget, I would like to see this front and rear lockers, things that'll help it off-road even more, but again, I don't really see that happening. So we'll say the three main things for now: 5.7 liter supercharged motor, way better tires, and potentially a long travel suspension or something a little more aggressive than what they offer right now. That is what we would need to see to bring the TRD Pro up into that level of a true Raptor / TRX fighter. Here's the reason why Ford and FCA can do this and Toyota will not, okay? You gotta look at it this way. The Ford Raptor is like a Pepsi. The TRX is like a Pepsi. The TRD Pro is like a Diet Pepsi. It's close, but not the real thing. Toyota is very conservative, okay? And they have a very tiny piece of the half-ton market, okay? So they don't have that room for error. Now, don't get me wrong, the TRD Pro sells like hotcakes. As you know, there's a huge demand for them. You could barely get your hands on them. When they're in the dealership, they're out that day or the next day. Half the time, they're already pre-ordered, yada, yada, yada. So they're definitely doing the right thing, but Toyota's very conservative. That's the word. That's the moral of the story here. Toyota is conservative. So they don't want to go too far away in the direction of a niche truck, in the way of the TRD Pro is pretty much your straight up Tundra with a little bit better of a suspension on it. Same thing. Ford Raptor, Ford F-150, different trucks really. TRX and a Ram 1500, different trucks. You know why? Because Ford owns the market share for the half-ton market. They could do whatever they want. They have that room to make a niche truck like the Raptor because they sell so many units. FCA, same thing. They sell a ton of Rams. And also, FCA is all about just trying things, and I give them a ton of credit. Ford is innovative. They're always thinking, what's the next thing that's going to be for the market, you know, with the EcoBoost motors and everything like that. FCA is like, do it. Supercharge a Challenger. Yeah, put the biggest supercharger you can find on it. Go. 707 wheel horsepower. We got to make people sign, you know, statute of limitation. We got to make people sign this paperwork to say that we're not liable. Like, that's crazy to me, but I think it's awesome at the same time that they're not afraid to try something. I always laugh with my friends and say, I feel like a board meeting at FCA is something out of the movie Wolf of Wall Street. Just, you know, a lot of yelling, a lot of caffeine. It seems like, you know, they're ready to try whatever they can, and I applaud that. On the other hand, Toyota, #1 auto manufacturer in the world. Very conservative. Truthfully, in Japan, they really don't care about trucks. Toyota USA puts a truck out on the market, so they have a piece of the half-ton market. So the fact that we even have the TRD Pro, we should be really happy about. Them taking it to the next level and being a true Raptor fighter or competitor, I just don't see it happening. I feel like the TRD Pro is the best you're gonna get. I would love to see it, and if they haven't opened their eyes and seen this yet, we want that. Because look at how the TRD Pro sells. And if you look at the TRD Pro, it's not much different than a regular Tundra. Hence, what's behind me right now. I bought a Platinum and turned it into a TRD Pro because I could. Because all you have to do is add a suspension, some skid plates, a dual exhaust. It's not much different. So I feel like they should step out and just maybe for 1 year give it a whirl, but I know they won't. I know this is the way I look at it. I get a lot of people telling me all the time, I'm mad about the 2019 TRD Pro, they didn't do enough to change it. That's because it's actually a smart business move. They didn't need to do anything to change it. The 2015 to 17 TRD Pros sold like hotcakes, high demand vehicle. Why would you change too much? That's the thing. They did little changes here and there, but overall it's pretty much the same truck because it can be. The one thing I am very annoyed at Toyota for, and I feel like it hurts their public image, at least to me and some of the people I talk to, is the fact that you can't customer order the truck anymore. You can't customer order a TRD Pro. You got to wait for a dealership to get certain allocations, and then you got to try to get it. To me, that is bad form all the way. Ford Raptor is the #1, you know, king of the mountain truck when it comes to off-roading, and I could walk into a Ford dealership right now and be like, hey, I want to order a Ford Raptor, and they're like, okay, sit down, fill this out. Done deal, it's mine. I think Toyota, it's bad form for them not to have the TRD Pro available to order as, you know, a consumer. Can't walk into a Toyota dealership and be like, oh, I want a TRD Pro. And the other thing that needs to change too is if I walk into a dealership right now and say, hey, I want to order a TRD Pro, some in their mind will be like, what the hell's a TRD Pro? Oh, okay, sit down, we'll do it. There's not a lot of communication through the ranks, it sounds like, in Toyota, so they got to work on that too. But overall, I think you should be happy with the TRD Pro because I don't think you're going to get much more than that. Congratulations to FCA for going forward with the TRX. It is awesome, and we wait to see what's next for the Ford Raptor. We already heard what's coming out 2019, so we will see what's going to happen going forward with that. And maybe one day, Ivan Stewart will talk sense into these people, and we will get a true Raptor fighting TRD Pro Tundra. We shall see. Comment below the video. Tell me what you think.